Well, thanks for taking time. I talked with Kevin for a little bit. Kind of gave us that backstory about kind of coming on. I forgot the name John Jankowski, but that's right. He was part of the very beginning as well when we started in 2007. So
Right.
um, the question I'll ask, kind of keeping it simple, what I did with the other folks is just from your perspective, what was Innovative Weather's impact, for you on operations and in the way that you guys worked?
There were lots of impacts. But obviously the number one being helping us manage, big wet weather events. But there were so many other impacts as far as just our relationship, first of all, in improving the forecast for our needs.
Mm-hmm.
That was, that impact of being able to continually kind of update how it gets forecasted, how the information gets conveyed to us, adding, the odor risk that we added, adding the steam risk. I think you were probably gone after we did some of those.
The older
Um,
one I was definitely a part of. Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
But being able to so easily get a hold of you guys and work through how, first of all, helping us define what we're looking for, and then you guys coming up with how are we going to put this into a data form that we can, adequately convey to you, and we can, grasp relatively quickly. So it, impacted our operations in lots of ways like that. And again, just the close relationship, as well as for me, the part of it being part of our community meant so much to us that you're here. It's, I still feel connected to students, not that feels like not that long ago I was a student. So I love that. Let's get students involved in real world stuff. Being able to talk about things in our community that we're working on and actually means something to the people that are around here. That all was just, again, a great relationship, as well as a good feeling being all of us part of working on finding solutions together.
Yeah. Do you have a story or a moment or an event that kind of comes to mind that when you think of Innovative Weather, this is a good story that you tell?
The best story for me is, you or Alex, would bring them down here every year or 2 years and tour the facilities, and we would talk about what was going on, and seeing the light in their eyes when they realize we use every one of their forecasts, whether they're forecasting nothing for 7 days. And we say, great, that's good confidence, not much is going to happen. Or they're forecasting something in the next 7 days, and we can get a sense of how much risk there really is in something happening. Or they're forecasting 4 inches, and okay, we know we're going to have an overflow.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not just looking at the big events. Every forecast helps us plan our daily operations and maintenance work, and was important to us. So knowing that, they're not just sending something out and nobody's using it. We look at it every day, and it impacts what we do every day. And when they realize, seeing that, like, oh, that's real. That's not just, sending, like I said, sending something out. It's real every day.
I asked this to a couple of the other guys. I hadn't thought of it before, but I throw it out to you. Those visits they're so important for us for just what you said, just the aha of it, that it's not just a theoretical class, almost like we have a weather forecast competition. So you're playing a game for bragging rights in that, but all of a sudden you show up and you see, no, this is actually how these things are used. Question I asked was, um, did you notice a difference in the way that the students wrote or forecasted or communicated after those visits with you? Could you tell?
I certainly noticed in the big picture from before to after, yes. And the students, you get different forecasts from different student forecasters continually. So it was kind of hard to parse out, oh, they were here and they got that message, or they got it later from, you or from another one of the students. But definitely in the big picture, before and after, yeah, I could tell that that meant something, and they took that in and did something with it. So yeah.
There were, and maybe just speak to this too, that you mentioned the odor one, but I was interested as we went through it over the years that there were a lot of other things that were happening behind the scenes. The main one was obviously the overflow, trying to avert that, or at least making sure that we'd never run into the issue of having a separated overflow. What were the other things though that were concerns for you guys? How else were you using those forecasts, even on the quiet days?
The quiet days are important for us for scheduling maintenance work. So we are always taking facilities out of service for either maintenance or improvement work. And when we have confidence that nothing is going to happen, nothing major is going to happen, then we have confidence in doing that work. So that's where it's very important to us on those, what some people would say are non-eventful days. For us, it's every day is an event. How, what are we going to get done today? And how are we going to manage that risk or react to the risk that's presented to us, whether it's, odor was more an operational one, but precipitation, heat and cold, managing. Our system is exposed to the cold, so freezing risks are real. And how do we address that every day? Now we've added that one recently. We added the steam risk, and how are we going to alert the public if those risks present themselves to us?
What was the steam risk, out of curiosity? That one was new to me.
Yeah, so normally we discharge our exhaust from our drying system that produces Milorganite. It's normally exhausted out of our stack, which is 350 feet tall, well above the Hone Bridge.
Right.
We had some issues with the ducting there that we had to discharge instead right to our roof. And so if we discharge all that right to our roof and it's blowing just the right way and the atmosphere is the right, I'll say, mix, it could have potentially put steam right across the Hone Bridge where it would potentially interfere with drivers.
Okay.
It would look like a heavy fog right on the bridge, right?
Right.
So we didn't want to at least leave that untended. If we knew that was going to happen, we would at least put out an alert. So we added that risk during that time until we got that work done.
Gotcha. One of the funny stories of this, just because we were working so closely with Milwaukee, partners, is Summerfest. And Rick Snow was the former, he's kind of the master of everything. Like, he did everything there. And he loved to tell the story of the odor issue. Do you ever hear the story with Elton John?
MMSD odor issue?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have.
Yeah, so it was one of his favorite stories, like, because this is when it became real to us, because we're just touring the Summerfest grounds, and of course we've been working with you guys much longer than we had been with Milwaukee World Festival. And Rick was telling us about the challenge with Elton John. He'd come on. It was one of those days where the wind was blowing just right into his corner, into his stage area, and his, "What is this shite?" he just swore I will never play here again. It just, and I remember hearing Rick Snow tell us that. And then I think, some of us looked at each other like, we forecast for those guys. And I think it was like not too long after that we actually talked about what do we want to do with the odor, like which direction. When you guys brought that up, we're like, we know why you would care about that, because Elton John cares about it.
That's right.
Oh man, good stuff. Well, yeah. This is pretty much what I wanted to grab for you. Is there anything else that you wanted to say to the staff or faculty?
Just that I appreciate all the hard work that they've put into all this. That would they have been available when we've needed to call them, at least for me, when I've been in this position, And I appreciated, I was putting them on the spot a lot of times, and they all reacted well, and just gave me the information I needed so we could figure out what to do. And I know that if you're a student in that position, that's not easy. So I appreciate the difficulty I put them in, and they all made it through it. So kudos to all those guys, to everybody.
Well, thank you for your you were again one of these guys who understood the nature of the partnership. I love that you got the whole idea of community, that was what we wanted to do, the next generation. I mean, the whole 9 yards. You guys have been a fantastic partner for all of this. So thank you for the way that you've embraced us too.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still sad that it's ending, but that's the nature of all things, right?
Yeah. It's nice to have this legacy. Not everybody gets to have that, what we have in terms of, even if we've got a sunset, to be able to sunset on these terms and with good relationships. It's probably the best way that we can do this. So
yeah, true. Yeah, no, thanks again. I'm sorry I won't be able to be there for the party, but appreciate everything you guys have done. Mike, you did a great job leading all the students through it, transitioning to Alex. So yeah, nice work, excellent work.
thank you very much.